and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. We have a new brand here that is available at Dollar General. Profusion Cosmetics has launched their sister brand, which is Color Spell Cosmetics, and everything is going to be $6 and below. Now before I get into it, I just want to say that everything you're going to be seeing here was sent to me in PR. The brand did so kindly reach out to me over on Instagram and asked if they could send me this stuff, so a big thank you to Profusion and Color Spell Cosmetics. However, free makeup does not automatically mean a free positive review. I will review this as if I bought it my own self. Now, I don't know if the displays are out yet in the stores. I know that they have now officially announced it over on their new Instagram page, so that's why I finally wanted to talk about these products. So I'm going to first start out with like a haul, and I'm going to be swatching everything too, and then we'll get into the application stuff. So I will have timestamps for you below in case you want to skip around, but let's go ahead and get started on that haul. A lot of this stuff I haven't even opened yet. I've just had this box sitting probably for about 2 weeks now, but I wanted to wait because the brand hadn't announced anything, but they finally did last week, so I feel like now I can finally talk about this. They sent me 4 eyeshadow palettes. 2 are a little bit larger. Okay, the first thing we have here is the Color Spell by Profusion. This is the 21 color eyeshadow palette, and this one is called Berries. We have this really pretty color scheme with some purples and then some neutrals on the side right here. This is the palette right here that I am going to be swatching and also demoing in my video. The other eyeshadow palette, they sent another larger one. I am not going to be swatching that one or anything. I'm going to donate that one simply because it is a color scheme I would never use. You'll see why in just a second. This one is called Solstice, and it has these shades here. This is just a little too orangey, too yellowy for what my preferences are now. So this is a palette that I'm not going to be swatching. I'm not going to be using this one. I don't really want to touch it because I do plan on donating the products that I'm not going to be using. So this one is going to be donated, but I did want to show it. The other palette is the one that I feel like I would probably get the most use out of simply because the colors are a little bit more muted and more neutral. I know that I would not probably use this one. To me, the prettiest shades in the palette are these shades up here that are like the browns. I know I would not use these oranges and these yellows. So this is one I'm going to be passing on, but I did want to show it in the haul. Okay, then they sent these 2 little smaller 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. So let me just open these up right quick. So the first 5-pan palette we have is this one right here, which is Hydra. Really pretty pop of blue in it, and then the rest of the shades are pretty neutral. And then we have this palette, which is Corvus. I believe I'm saying it's C-O-R-V-U-S. Unfortunately, there's not any names on the actual palette on these. The name is actually on the little box right here down at the bottom. So if these were something you were interested in purchasing, then you might want to end up keeping the outer packaging long enough to write the names on the back of the palettes because they're not listed at all on the packaging. Not that I can see, but some of this writing is small. But no, I don't think it is. So just something to think about going forward. Okay, then next they sent over 7 of their eyeshadow sticks. We have some that are matte and then some are a more metallic or shimmer formula. I think they say shimmer. So these are another example. I'm not going to be swatching all of these. There are some shades that I already know I would not be using. Namely these shades right here. The shades Onyx, which is like a gray shade. Fern, which is like this olivey green shade. Galaxy is kind of like this purpley pink shade. And then Ginger, which is like this reddish brown shade. Those are the ones I'm not going to be opening. I don't want to open them because once I swatch them, I can't donate them. So these are going to be passed along. I already know that I'm not going to be using these shades, so I would rather pass these along to someone who would use them and love them. So I'm going to be putting these in like a donate pile. They don't write the names on the actual eyeshadow sticks, so that's kind of... I don't like that. I wish they had included the names on the little sticks themselves, but this one is in the shade Pyrite. Very pretty and very creamy. Stunning. So these are ones I'm going to have to write the names on like a piece of paper and tape it to the side because I want to be able to know their names so I can reference them in the future if I use them in videos. Okay, this one is in the shade Sparks. There's like this pretty pinky shift to it. That's really stunning. They feel really creamy when I swatch them on my hand. And then we have the shade Ember. See, these are the 3 shades I already knew I wanted. I know I would never use those other shades, so I'm just going to pass those along. But these are really beautiful. I can't wait to use these on the eyes to see how they do. But I will be doing 2 different looks. I'm going to do like one look using the eyeshadow palettes, and then I'm going to come back the next day and then do a look with just these eyeshadow sticks because I want to see how they perform on their own. Now, I might use the eyeshadow sticks in today's look just to kind of maybe do a little bit on the lower lash line, but for the most part, I would like to do some separate looks to kind of get a feel for these too and see how they wear. And I am filming this pretty early in advance, so by the time this video comes up, I'm hoping I can have some more thoughts on these products. Okay, they sent 3 different mascaras. We have a waterproof, a volumizing, and then a lengthening mascara. Hoping you can see the wands right there on the packaging, kind of the way they're shaped. I'm going to be using the waterproof one, and then I'm not going to open these 2 right now because I have so many opened, but I will be trying these in the future for sure. But I am going to be using the waterproof version simply because I love mascara ones that have that little curve to them. I find that those are usually the ones that work the best for me. So I'm going to be using this one in today's video, and then these other 2 I'm just going to save. And when I'm able to open some more new mascaras, I will be trying these. All of these are in a black shade, so they don't offer any brown. I wish they did. Maybe they will in the future. But I definitely want to try these later, so we'll be trying this one today. All right, they sent 3 different eyebrow pencils. So we have the dark brown, which is the one I'm going to be using, the soft brown, and then the black. They do have the little spoolies on the end here, of course, and I'm going to be using the dark brown shade, so I will be donating these 2 because, I mean, I would never be able to use these. So I will be passing these along, and then we'll be trying this one out. All right, let's open that brow pencil, and let's see how fine the tip is. Okay, so it's got like a triangular tip. I don't even know if I'll be able to even show you that, but it has a little very precise triangular tip to it. So let me see what this shade looks like here. It looks a little more warm tone on the camera here, or what I'm viewing in the little viewfinder here, but it looks a little bit more on the neutral side in person. So I'm hoping that'll work for my brows, but we will see. The little pencil part is very small, so you probably could get some really good hair-like strokes if you are someone that does that. So be testing that out. Now there's no brow gel or anything that come with this, so that might be something maybe they'll release in the future. Now while we're staying on the eyes here, they have also released 4 different lashes, like false eyelashes. These I'm torn on. A part of me wants to use at least maybe 1 pair, but then another part of me is saying just donate these because I just don't know if I'd use them. I haven't been wearing false eyelashes, but I think I might keep 1 pair, the one that is the most natural, and then try it from there. I'm going to first start out with this one, which is doe, and we have 2 pairs of lashes. This is the packaging that I'm thinking about keeping. These are the most natural out of the group. Then we have wispy, hello, and glam. So you already know I would never use those for sure. So the ones I'm going to keep are the ones called Dose. So I'll be definitely using maybe a pair of these, maybe either today or when I do a look tomorrow, because I want to try at least just to see what the false eyelashes are like. But the other 3 sets I'm going to donate. And then they also sent these 3 eyeshadow brushes. We have a blending brush, a pencil brush, and a crease brush. I am going to be using these today. So let's open these up and see what they look like here. Okay, and so here are the 3 brushes we have. They feel very, very soft. So we'll see how they apply when I do my eyeshadow looks today. And then they sent 3 shades of these 2-in-1 lip and cheek products. We have the shade Halo, Collision, and then Nova right here. I can go ahead and probably say that Halo would be my favorite shade, but it's basically like a little stick here. All right, and that's the shade Halo. Very pretty. Then we have the shade Nova. Oh goodness, that might be woo, beautiful. Okay, and then we have Collision. I put that way over here on, so I'm having to twist my arm. That's a really pretty shade too. There you see the 3 shades. By the way, I don't know how many shades might be in each thing. I don't know if this is their entire line or if there's more. I'm just going by what they sent me. So there might be more shades in this. I'm not exactly sure, but these are really pretty. This one is definitely more my speed. These are just, but I mean, I'm sure you can shear them out once if you use like a brush and just really go in softly, but this is definitely going to be the shade that I'm going to gravitate the most towards. I can already say it. And then they sent 3 different high gloss lip oils. We have the shade Twilight, Daybreak, and then Midnight. I'm guessing that these are probably going to be on the sheer side, like not have a lot of color to them, but hey, they may surprise me. Okay, it does seem to have a scent, but I can't quite figure out what that is. There's really no tint to that one at all. That's like a clear. You can see the doe foot applicator. Oh, they have like different scents. This one smells different. Smells like watermelon kind of? No, I don't know. Some kind of candy. I can definitely smell a candy in that one. Okay, there's just the most subtle pink tint. You might can see it when I turn my hand there. But for the most part, I'm guessing these are going to be pretty clear. Do you know those Dum Dum suckers? This smells like one of them. but I can't think of which one. Maybe the watermelon one, I'm not sure, but that one smells like one of those. Then we have the shade Midnight. So yeah, you can see they are basically like clear. There's just the very subtle hint of a tint, but it is not a lot, so no big deal there. I like lip oils no matter whether they're tinted or not. You know what? Let's go ahead and apply one. I'm going to apply the Twilight one, which is basically the clear, because I need to do some lip prep anyway, so let's see here. It feels very thin. Does watery make sense? When I say watery, that's kind of what it feels like. Very thin, and it feels like, and I don't mean that like in a bad way, like very slippery almost, like very wet, slippery kind of feeling. I don't see it doing any of those lines or anything, so it doesn't seem so bad. We'll have to I'll just keep testing those, but that's the best way I can describe it. They feel like kind of like a little bit of a slippery, watery kind of feel on the lips. Okay, and the last products they sent me were some products for the nails, which I haven't used these, and I mean, of course, I'll be using these in the future. So they sent me these really beautiful press-on nails. We have Good Vibes, which is like this really pretty blue shade. Then we have Hologram. I'm hoping you can see this because the packaging is really reflective. That's really cute. That's really stunning. And then we have Classic. So I definitely will be using these. This coming weekend, I will be changing these press-ons that I'm wearing now, so I will be giving these a try because I think they look really pretty. And I am all about press-on nails. I love me some press-on nails. And then they sent 3 shades of nail polish, which look how pretty these shades are. We have the shade Flamingo, Copper, which is my very favorite. Gosh, I wonder why. And then Lilac. So stunning. Okay, so that is everything in the haul. So let's move on to doing some eyeshadow looks and testing out all of these products. We're going to start with brows first since they do include a brow pencil. So let me zoom you in and let's get started on those brows. All right, so let's try this eyebrow pencil. This is the dark brown shade. Sometimes these dark brown shades, they can work for me and then they don't. And this tip is really like a fine point, so I don't know if this is necessarily, no, it's doing good, never mind. I was gonna say, because my brows don't really need that kind of small precision, I didn't know how it might work. I feel like it might take me so long to go through the brows, but no, I don't think so. It looks like it's doing pretty good. I also don't know how much each of these products are individually. They sent me like a little card, but it doesn't say price points. But I know on their Instagram, they said that everything is below $6 at Dollar General. So I don't have individual price points. Pretty quicker than I thought it would be. I thought it might have been too precise for my brows because I don't really need a lot of hair-like strokes for me. But I think that if you like that, you probably could easily achieve that with this pencil. I think the tone's really actually good on it. I was kind of worried about that because I know a lot of these dark brown pencils can look just way too warm for my brow color. So I'm happy to see that it looks kind of like more of a neutral. It might be the hint of warm, but not enough to notice it. Like, not enough to make it stand out. Okay, they don't have a brow gel or anything, so I'm just going to be using my Refi brow gel. Alright, these eyeshadow palettes. The eyeshadow palettes I'm going to be using today, I will insert some swatches right here while I'm talking about them. The first one is going to be this Berries palette. I am going to try to use some of the purples. I don't want to just use the neutrals in this palette, even though I want to. But we're going to be using some of these purples. I will be including some swatches. Now, while I'm filming this part of the video, I do notice that it looks like there is a pressed glitter in this palette, so I know not a lot of people like that, so I do want to point that out so you are aware of it. I believe I'm going to be using the Hydra little 5-pan to also kind of mix in with this one, so I will be inserting some swatches right here of that as well while I'm talking about it. I think that's the one I want to use. The other one I think is really pretty, but this one is drawing me in more, so I want to use this one first. And maybe with the other eyeshadow palette, I can use that when I'm using the eyeshadow sticks and just kind of maybe add like a little bit of an accent color, like maybe a shimmer on the top. Okay, so we are going to start with this shade right here in the Berries palette, and I'm going to take that on a blending brush from e.l.f. Alright, let's see how pigmented this is. Oh, now that's a nice shade. Yeah, I'm liking that. But you know, if this eyeshadow formula is like Profusion's, then I know it'll be fine because I always enjoyed Profusion's formula. I never really, I mean, there might have been some palettes that I had that might have been like a miss, but for the most part, they did very well. So this is going on nicely. I love that shade. Okay, I like that. That went on really nicely. I didn't struggle with that shade at all. So that's pretty. On that same brush, I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to really tap off that excess, and then we're going to stamp that right out here. Tapped off a lot, so I might have to keep going back in, but I'd rather go in with small amounts first, so I'm not struggling with the blending so much. Okay, that's not bad at all. I don't know how much the eyeshadow palettes, I figured these eyeshadow palettes might be around the $6 mark since these are a little bit larger. I don't know. I don't have any of the prices to be able to give you. But definitely, if you're interested in any of these products, check your local Dollar General if you have one near you. Okay, so far I'm pretty impressed by what I'm seeing with these eyeshadows. They're blending very nicely. I haven't struggled with them at all. They have pretty decent pigment, so that is really lovely to see. So far, so good. Now, I definitely would want to use these palettes more because I am working with only a few shades here. I used to try to do like looks that like do a look over here, do a look over here, but I don't know if that was really all that helpful or not. If anybody wants to tell me whether or not it was, I will be glad to return to doing that. But then I thought some people might rather see the same look on both eyes for a more cohesive look, but I am willing to do whichever you prefer. Like if you would rather see two different eye looks or just do it like this and just show you one kind of cohesive look, I can do whatever. Okay, I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to try taking that on my finger because these nails aren't as long as some I usually do, so I'm going to take that shade right there. Now, at the time that I am filming this part, I have not swatched these yet, so I don't know how they look in a swatch. I have to do my swatches in a little bit. I'll probably do that this afternoon when I have a lot more free time. You know what, since this look has a little bit more to it, well, I mean, you know, it's still pretty neutral for the most part. I might wear the false eyelashes today. I want to test that mascara, but that might be a good mascara to test tomorrow when I'm not wearing some false eyelashes, so I don't know what to do because I want to try the false eyelashes, but then I really care more about the mascara, if I'm being entirely honest. Now, I really like that, and I like this look. It's got a pop of color, but it's still very neutral, which is what I like. I like maybe a slight pop of color, but I want it to be more muted. I really do like this. Okay, I'm just going to curl my lashes. I'm going to be using that waterproof mascara. I saw that that one had the more curved one, so I really want to test that out because usually those ones like that are some of my most favorite mascaras have those ones, and usually they work for me really well. All right, there is the wand. Let me get it up close here so you can see this. And this is waterproof, so it should hold a curl. But I know mascaras are one of those things where you have to keep using mascaras and really seeing how they work. Because I know a lot of mascaras perform better once they've been open for a while. Okay, that's one coat of this mascara. Looks pretty natural, I will say. It looks pretty natural, so if you like a natural mascara. But we're going to see if I can build it up some. It does build pretty nicely on itself. So there's two coats on one side. Not bad. We'll see how it wears throughout the day, if it smudges or flakes or anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and quickly do my other eye, and then I'm going to do like my foundation, concealer, and all that off camera. There are no foundations and concealers, or they might come in the future, or unless they just didn't send it, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to do that right off camera, and then I'll come right back, and then we'll do the rest of the face. Alright, there's the two coats on both sides, and you know what? As soon as I got off camera, I've completely realized that I haven't used these eyeshadow brushes. So I'll use one for my lower lash line, but I am so sorry about that. I will be using them though soon. But there is two coats on each side with this mascara, and then here is the look on the top lash line. Very pretty. So I'm going to go into this little small palette. This one is called Hydra. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to take this little brush right here. And you know what? I think I'm going to take that blue shade in this palette. I just want to see how that blue shade, does it pick up on a brush, or would it be something that would probably be better, you know, with your finger, because it is a shimmer shade. But I'm just going to try. I'm going to try and, you know, see. I cannot believe that I forgot to use these brushes on the top lash line. I'm so used to using my e.l.f. brushes, but let's see here. I know blue on the lower lash line can be a good or bad thing for me because I do struggle with darkness under my eyes, but I just want to see this blue shade. I am very lightly running this along my lower lash line, and it is pretty pigmented, I will say, because I'm barely touching my skin with this brush. Also, this brush is really soft. I am experiencing a bit, just a touch of fallout with that shade, but now I didn't tap my brush off, so that was probably more of a me thing. Okay, I wiped off that blue pigment, and I'm going to go in with this shade right here in this palette. This looks like it has a touch of shimmer in it. I thought it was a matte, but I see there looks like there'd be some shimmer. So I'm just going to take a small amount of that and kind of run it right underneath that blue. Just a little bit. I didn't pick up too much of it because it does have a bit of glitter in it. I was hoping it was a matte, but it does have some little fine sparkle in it. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit more and I'm going to press it in here and see if it brightens. And it does. Yeah, that gives me a nice little brighten moment. Yeah, I really like the subtle pop of brightness that shade gives. It's not too much, but it's like a really natural pop of brightness, if that makes sense. I don't know how I feel about this blue under eye simply because I don't wear this. I have not worn, I feel like I haven't worn color like that on my lower lash line in a long time, so it's kind of throwing me off, but I just had to know what that blue looked like. Now, I will say that I noticed with this mascara, more so when I used it on the other eye versus the first time I used it, it felt like a really wet formula, more so over here than it did. I don't know if it just had to kind of get more into the tube. So it's one you might want to be careful with at first. I'm hoping it'll dry out some as time goes on, so we'll see how that goes. But I feel like it's one that probably could get messy pretty easily, so I'm going to see if I can really do my lower lash line here without making a big mess. Okay, so I did end up getting just a little bit of a smudge there, but not so bad. So we're going to move on to the cheek product now. There's no bronzer or anything, so we're going to just move straight onto the blush. There's no highlighter either. So of course the shade I'm going to use is Halo, which would be the lightest shade. Now I am not swiping this directly on my cheek. I just don't personally like to do that. So I think I'm going to try just picking it up on the brush. And then if that doesn't work, I might just like put some on the back of my hand and pick it up. But I don't know if I'm even picking up a lot this way because this is more of a fluffier brush. This is from Betsy Johnson. Let's see. Oh yeah. Some did pick up. I don't know why my face looks so red on camera. It doesn't look like that in person here. Maybe it's just the blush maybe making it look like that. It probably also would work if you swipe this on the back of your hand. You could do that too, I'm sure. I just don't really ever like going with cheap products on my face because I find that it can definitely pull up my foundation. So I like to do it more like this. There's no lip liners or any actual lip products other than the lip oils. And this says that this is for lip and cheeks. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this one, which is the shade Collision. I'm going to take a little bit of that on my finger. I'll see if I can darken it a little bit. I know you could also like swipe this on your lip too. You know what? Let's try that. Let's just swipe it. The other one I just don't like on its own. It's a little too light for my lips, for my lip color, but that's pretty. I like that. Okay, let's talk about these products that I did manage to try today. The brow product was nice. It didn't have any issues, but now mind you, this is just a first impressions video, but I do plan on using these products a lot more before this video goes up this coming Friday. I am filming this on the Monday beforehand, so I want to keep using these products throughout the week, and if there are any changes, I will leave that in a pinned comment for you below. But right now, the brow product looks really nice. The eyeshadow performed just really well. Like, I'm very impressed with the eyeshadow. I didn't struggle at all with it blending with any kind of weirdness. I'm not a fan of this pop of blue on my lower lash line simply because I just don't wear this kind of makeup anymore, so it kind of stands out. To me it stands out because I'm just so used to wearing brown eyeshadow over and over and over. But it is very pretty. The eyeshadow palettes that I used and the shades I used, at least, were very pretty. I didn't struggle with them at all. The blush looks really nice. I don't see it doing anything weird. Seems to set down pretty well, too. I don't feel it being, like, really overly sticky. That's a really pretty shade. I didn't like that shade on my lips, but it is a really pretty blush, as you can kind of see. Really stunning. The lip oils felt fine. I have to just keep using those. I feel like they're just like any typical lip oil, but they felt a lot more very thin and very watery feeling. I don't know if that's the best description, but that's just the only thing that comes to my mind with how I can describe it. It's like you went to the sink, took some water and then just rubbed it on your lips. That's kind of what it felt like. But I mean, it didn't feel drying or anything, so that's what really truly matters. But there's not much of a tint to them, at least not in the swatch. I only used the one shade, but there's really no tint. But this shade right here on the lips, which was Collision. Now I know it probably mixed in a little bit more with that Halo shade, but that is a really pretty color. I really want to use this one on my cheeks, and I'm hoping I can use that one tomorrow. Really stunning. So far, everything is looking pretty nice. Now, for some of the other products, like the nails, the nail polishes, some of those, I'll just have to test them out on my own time and see how they do, and then I can always add back to that pinned comment, like, you know, keep replying to it and adding some updates as time goes on, and I can keep sharing some things there. So if this is a brand that you're curious about and you want to just keep checking back in the future. Oh, and the mascara. Well, now right now it looks completely fine. I do want to see how it wears throughout the day, but I know with mascaras, it's kind of a thing where you definitely have to see how they wear over time. Some mascaras either improve over time, some might get worse. I mean, you never know. Now, the brushes, I will say, felt really nice and soft. Unfortunately, I did only use the one. I completely forgot to use them on my upper lid here when I was doing my eyeshadow look, so I will plan to use those soon too as well, but they felt really soft. I didn't struggle with that brush that I used here to apply that blue. I feel like it applied the blue very well. It picked it up nice, so that is good. So far, I will say that I am pretty impressed by these products, but I will definitely keep using them to see if any thoughts change over time. But so far so good, and I feel like with everything being less than $6, I think that's good. I think that it's nice to see affordable brands still exist considering how expensive makeup is becoming. Even your typical drugstore makeup that is getting more and more and more. I mean, I'm using a CoverGirl foundation today that if you buy it from Ulta, it's like $22. So it is nice to see that brands like this do still exist that can be below a certain price point. So I will give this brand credit for that as well. It is day 2 here of me using some of these products, and the only thing I've applied here off camera is just one of the lip oils just on my lips, just to kind of get them nice and hydrated for my lip application later. So today I want to use these eyeshadow sticks. I did end up writing like the names on the side simply because they just don't have the names on each individual eyeshadow stick. So these are the 3 shades that I kept. I did swatches of them, of course, and everything in the haul, but I want to use these today. I don't know yet if I'm going to be using this other eyeshadow palette. This one is in Corvus. I didn't use this one yesterday, but I'm going to include some swatches right here for you so you can still see the swatches of this palette. Even if I don't use it, at least you can see that in case you were interested in seeing the shades all swatched out. But I want to see what these eyeshadow sticks can do on their own. So I'm going to zoom you in. Okay, I'm going to start with the shade Pyrite, and I'm going to see how that looks all over the lid. Well, now it is applying really nicely. It's not tugging or anything. So that is really nice to see. Now that looks like a really pretty shade. And I'm going to take one of the crease brushes here. You know, one of the brushes that I did not use, I'm just going to go around the edges of that. And I will say that the look I wore yesterday, everything held up very well. I will talk about some of my top favorites at the end, like if you were only looking to purchase like maybe 1 or 2 things from this brand. I definitely have some favorites, some standouts, so I will be mentioning that. Now for the eyeshadow sticks, of course, this will be just my first impression. I don't know how they'll wear. I will be leaving everything in a pinned comment below about how everything wore, how everything did, and I'm going to continue wearing these hopefully for the next, maybe a few products for the next few days and seeing how they do. I don't know how much I'll be able to wear some of the eyeshadow because I do have a video coming up soon where I talk about what I got in the Sephora sale, and I have some eyeshadow products in that I want to be testing out too. But I'm hoping I can get a good read on how these products are. Now that is a pretty shade, and it's just glides on the eye so easy. Like I'm not struggling at all. Like it's not tugging. Like some eyeshadow sticks I feel like can be so dry and they just tug your poor eyelid skin, which is already thin enough as it is, so I don't really want to be tugging around this part. And as always, all I'm wearing is my Milani eyeshadow primer. And I didn't set it, of course, because I knew that I'd be going in with some eyeshadow sticks. I don't know if it looks like it on camera or not, because I know sometimes that kind of stuff can't put, but in person, it looks like a wet eyeshadow. Like it just looks like your eyelids are just like wet with like a glimmer, sparkly kind of glossy eye topper or whatever you call those. That's exactly what it looks like in person. Very pretty. Now I'm going to try this. Now this is the shade Ember. This is a little bit deeper, not by much. I'm going to see if I can put some out here. It might not deepen it up too much because that other shade is so sparkly and metallic, but I'm just going to try it because I'm just having fun here with some eyeshadow. I think it added a touch of depth. Not too much. I'm not even sure if you're even seeing it on camera. In person, it's just a very subtle change. Nothing too extreme. But I am going to use that shade on the lower lash line too so we can kind of see it by itself. But I'm just trying some different things here. I realized that none of the shades that I kept in these little eyeshadow sticks were matte. There were some that I'm going to donate that were the matte ones. I guess I should have kept one to see how the matte formula was, but I just really didn't like the shades in the matte. Those were a lot more of the colorful ones, and I just know that I wouldn't get a lot of use out of those, so I'd rather pass them along to someone who I know would love them. Okay, I'm going to take a fluffy eye blender brush from e.l.f., and I am going to take this Corvus palette, and I'm going to go in with this middle shade right here. I'm just going to pick up a very small amount. Like, I'm talking I tapped in one time to that shade because I don't really want to take away, but I want to add something around the edge here. I noticed that the mascara yesterday, it didn't smudge or flake on me, so I think today I might end up using a pair of the false eyelashes today just to see how they perform. I can't tell you the last time I've worn a pair of false eyelashes. It's been a while. I have absolutely nothing against them. I love false eyelashes, but it's not really my preference now. I really love mascara. I need to really stop buying mascaras though because I feel like I have so many open. Because I also picked up that Refi mascara, the one that has the interesting wand. I cannot wait to try that out. Like, I just got to know, is that easy to apply or is it kind of gimmicky? I just have to know. Also, I'm going in with the Hydra palette and I'm taking a small amount of that shade on that same brush. I'm just using that to kind of go around the edges a little bit of this shade. Not taking too much. That shade has some sparkle in it, so I'm just mostly using it for the tone because it's basically kind of like my skin tone shade. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my mascara off camera. I think I am going to try some of those false eyelashes. I just really want to know how they perform, how they wear. I'm going to apply the waterproof mascara and then I'll come right back and we'll apply those false eyelashes and see how they look. Okay, there are the lashes. I went ahead and applied them off camera. I just figured that would be easier and just come back and show you. These are from the doe packaging and they were the shortest of the two pairs. These have a little bit more wispiness to them, like the different lengths to them. This was the shortest pair, so they do look fairly natural. I mean, they don't look like those really gigantic dramatic lashes at all, so I feel like if you were wanting a more subtle false eyelash, then maybe go with the doe packaging because I think that these are probably the most subtle out of all four sets that they have. But I'm in a little closer so you can see them. They're pretty, but I'm fine with really just mascara. But I do think these are pretty. So if you were wanting a false eyelash, I don't see anything wrong with them. They were really easy to apply. The band was really flexible, so it wasn't like really stiff where like you can't shape it to your eye. I didn't struggle at all with applying them, so that was really good to see. Okay, for the lower lash line, I'm first going to take the shade Pyrite, and I'm going to take that on the outer half of my lower lash line. You could also take Ember and do this too. I'm only going to take it about halfway because I do have one other of these eyeshadow sticks that I want to use. It's the one called Sparks, which is like the pinky one. Now let's take Sparks and go right in here. This shade looks really pretty. Really pretty pinky shade. I really love the shade Collision and these little 2-in-1 hydrating lip and cheek tints, so I'm going to apply this on my cheeks today. Now I haven't yet used the shade Nova, so I probably should use that one, but I just really want to see the shade on the cheeks. I really want to see this one. It was so pretty on the lips yesterday, and I was amazed at how long it actually lasted on my lips. It lasted all day on the cheeks. So I'm just going to take the same little Betsy Johnson brush that I was using before. I didn't pick up too much because I feel like this is a really pigmented shade, so I didn't want to go overboard with it. Oh, that's so pretty. I never thought that this one might actually be my favorite. I was sitting here thinking that the shade Halo would be my favorite. I don't know. I think Collision might actually have that one beat. You know what? For the other side, I'm going to try taking some on the back of my hand and then picking it up and see if what that does. That might actually be better. Yeah, I think that picked up a little bit more easier if I did it like that. That one I think is actually my favorite, and I thought that the other one would be, but no. So I'm also going to take this, and you know what? I'm going to take it on a brush, like one of the little brushes. Because this is like a really chunky applicator, so I'm going to take it on a brush and apply it to the lips that way. Kind of get a wash of color. I feel like I have now used the majority of these products, that I can kind of have some thoughts on them, some initial thoughts. I still consider this first impressions, even though this is the second day I've tried these products, because I do want to consistently use them more and more. If you only get one thing from this brand, these are the hydrating lip and cheek sticks. These are so lovely. Yesterday, it lasted all day on the cheek. It did not have like a sticky, tacky feeling to it. I felt like it actually did sit down. And then on the lips, I was amazed at how long it actually stayed on my lips. Like, now, I wasn't putting it through like very, eating something that was like really greasy or anything. So, I mean, of course, take that for what you will. But I was still surprised at the amount of time that this stayed on my lips. Now, I haven't used the shade Nova yet, but assuming that it is the same as these two, I'm sure I will definitely love this one too. I cannot believe that Collision is actually my favorite one. I love that shade. I absolutely love it. I feel like you can sheer it out to be like this really beautiful flush on the skin. It is so pretty. And taking a brush and feathering it out on the lips like that, so stunning. Absolutely beautiful. For the eyeshadow sticks, I will have to see how they wear, because you never know with those. I mean, it could last all day. It might start to crease on me. I don't know. I hope they don't, because they are very pretty. And in person, they just look like the most pretty, wet, sparkly shadows on your eyes. Like you just took a glossy eye topper and just put it all over. They're very stunning in person. The eyeshadow palettes, the eyeshadows performed very well. They didn't muddy or anything like that when I wore them yesterday, and I'm sure that the one shade I used from that palette today will be just as good. The mascara, I haven't had any smudging or flaking yet with it, so I mean, so far so good. The false eyelashes are nice. I'm not really into false eyelashes the way I used to be, so I feel like that's just down to personal preference, but I don't see these as being bad at all. They had a really nice flexible band, which I like to see. I don't like those lashes that have a really stiff band that you can't really shape them to your eye. I don't like those, so I feel like these are nice. And I feel like the set with doe, I think those would be probably the most natural. Maybe the wispy ones too would probably be along that category as well. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you are alerted to all my future uploads. And please follow me over on Instagram at Jessica Dearly, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!